How much of Arizona does Arizona own? So it turns out that 70% of Arizona is not available for development. Arizona only owns about 13% of her state. The next highest portion, private development, is still a vast minority. Most of the state is federal or tribal lands. The federal government granted us land, just like they had done when 22 other states joined the Union. Now, most of those other states had impulse control issues and sold that land immediately. Now, you can't blame them. They want to spur development and get people moving in, start up them cities, and get the wheels of commerce moving. But the fair young lass Arizona decided, I'm going to hold on to this. I bet you it's going to be worth a lot more someday. And so that's what she did. So far, 105 years later, she's only sold off about 14% of all the land that was put aside. So what do you know about state land? Should we consider it public land? Should we consider it private? What does it mean to be private land? What can you do on state land? Who gets the money when we sell it? Does that land have to be sold for housing developments, or can we do something better with it? Did you know that state land can be used to preserve open space and natural environments? Since 1996, 37,000 acres have been used this way, including parts of the White Tanks, Squaw Peak, and because it's 2019, we call it Piestewa Peak, South Mountain, Phoenix Mountain Preserves, Catalina State Park, and Picacho Peak. There's a few other wildlife reserves and that sort of thing that have been set aside, and groups can petition the State Land Office to set aside parcels of state land that can be earmarked for preservation of open space and nature. And just for comparison, the White Tank Mountains cover an area of 26,000 acres, so the land that has been earmarked for conservation is not insignificant. And there are currently 36,000 acres that are going through the reclassification process for conservation. This program is called the Arizona Preserves Initiative. BLM is federal land, administered by the government, has a lot of the same characteristics as state land. BLM land, just like state land, leases out grazing rights, mineral rights, and sells licenses for natural products, such as timber and foraged edibles like mushrooms and fruits and such. There are also a bunch of other uses that BLM land can be put to. You can rock hound, taking small samples of interesting rocks and minerals. You can even take one 25-pound sample a year. Now, of course, you can use your OHVs, you can go camping, target shooting, rock hounding, and get forest products, mining, grazing, etc. That's what BLM land allows. State land is a little bit less permissive. While BLM land is public land and can be used without a permit, as long as you follow the rules and make sure that you're not being a jerk about it, state land requires permits. A simple recreation permit will allow you to drive on state lands unless otherwise posted. It allows you to camp and hike and do photography and all the other things that you might want to do out in the desert that doesn't include shooting or taking rocks. Now, don't take my word as law here. Check the Arizona State Land Department website to make sure you know what you can do out there. Now, because of the nature of these lands, most of Arizona is checkerboarded every couple miles as BLM or state lands. So if you're on a little journey out in the desert, you may be crisscrossing in between them. You want to make sure that you know which piece of land you're on and which rules you're going to have to apply. Most of the time, if you're just traveling and you practice leave no trace, you're not going to have a problem. But definitely pick up one of them state land recreation passes anyway. And also in Arizona, whenever you find a gate, make sure you leave it the way you found it, either open or closed. And if it's locked, you probably shouldn't go through it. One interesting thing about state land is that every parcel of state land has a designated beneficiary. So when that parcel of land is sold, the money that's raised goes directly to the beneficiary of that specific parcel of land. Over 1 million acres around Phoenix were earmarked to public education. So a lot of the development that happens around the valley, that money will go to schools. But not all money from state land goes to public education or public schools. There's land up around Flagstaff, of which U of A gets the proceeds for leasing off the timber rights. And there are 11 other beneficiaries to which money goes, such as the Arizona Pioneer Home. So you see that state land is kind of thought of as a piggy bank. We only have so much of it. Most other states have already squandered theirs, but Arizona, through careful stewardship, still has quite a bit of it. She can use that land to preserve open space and nature and as a conservation tool. She can use that land to bring in developers and housing developments. She can trade that land with the federal government for land of equal or lesser area in case there's something that she thinks she needs more than they do. Now, there's a lot of things that she does with state land that doesn't actually include selling it. The grazing leases, mineral leases, timber leases. 2 of those are renewable, but aren't necessarily impact-free. But basically allow her to keep those lands in reserve, make money off of them like rent. So long story short, state land is wildly misunderstood. Before I did the research for this video, I didn't know jack about it, to be honest. I only got my state recreation permit about a month ago. But after learning more about it, I don't feel so bad about selling it off for development or as open space. I understand its purpose better. So do you think that Arizona did the right thing holding on to the land instead of selling it right away? Let us know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about these Development Bites videos. And if you'd like to suggest some topics for them, let me know. You can email us at mail@Arizona.FYI. Like all other YouTubers, I gotta say, turn on the notifications for these videos after you've subscribed. That way you know when new videos are coming out. Check out the other playlists on this channel for in-depth history stories, explorations of good and bad developments, and more just general Arizona awesomeness. So for Arizona FYI, I've been Mark. Let's go explore Arizona.